Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, it's National NFL Draft Day. That's right. 10 hours till the first pick comes off the board tonight. And the Jacksonville Jaguars make fools of themselves again. Yeah, they can't F this up. Not even the Jags can F this up. It's hard to F up the first pick in the draft. But if there's a way, the Jags will find a way to do it. Welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. I got a great draft day show for you. We're going to talk to the great Dan Lucas from News Channel 8. He's covered about as many NFL drafts and Bucs drafts as I have. So we'll chat with him about some of our favorite stories and what the Bucs fans can look forward to tonight, and all NFL fans can look forward to tonight. It's in Vegas, so there's going to be some fun stuff. I don't know what they got up their sleeve, but should be somewhat interesting. Although we'll talk about this in a minute. How do you consume the NFL draft? Is what I have. That's the question I have for you folks today. Maybe we can put up a Twitter poll today. Nick Geddes from Outkick.com joining me. How are you, sir, this morning?
I'm good. I woke up this morning, and speaking of consuming the NFL draft, everybody has their little clever tweets this morning.
Of course, yes.
It's draft day, and it's the greatest thing.
Draft your fast food French fries. What would be your first round pick?
Yeah, your mock draft.
Your mock draft. Mock draft of best desserts at fast food restaurants. Who we got? I got McDonald's apple pie going first. What do you got?
Yeah,
you mean that stuff?
Yeah,
that clever.
It's all the draft day thing. It's I don't know. I've only been on this earth for 22 years, and I'm already exhausted by the NFL draft. I don't know. I filled out one mock draft, and I made it about halfway, and I was like, I regret this right now so much.
Can't do it.
But hey, everybody loves it. It makes people make a lot of money off of it. Very profitable. I mean, the NFL draft started in Music City Hall, which I prefer, by the way. I like the intimacy. Radio music hall. But now we're doing Las Vegas. We got 2 stages in there.
Yes.
People are staying at the Bellagio and whatever's out there. And
sure, Justin Bieber will be involved.
He might
some
be.
Way. Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be a spectacle, as everything in the NFL.
The guys with Tigers, are they still doing that thing out there? What do they do?
I don't know. What about the Chippendales? Are they going to be out there?
Why not? They throw them in there. Celine Dion has to be there.
Yeah.
Wayne Newton's got to do something.
Yeah. The Golden Knights don't have anything going on now, so you could bring them out there on stage too. I don't know.
Get their little jousting thing going.
Yeah.
To open up the draft.
Yeah. See if they could borrow their pregame festivities.
They're free. They've got nothing to do. I remember at one point I was looking forward to a Vegas Lightning final. They were one of the better teams
never happened
in the West earlier this year.
It's never happening.
I know, but remember
they were all set up to use their LTIR this year with Mr. Mark Stone and Mr. Eichel and
problem is you got to make the freaking playoffs to make it work. It's kind of crucial to the whole deal.
The league is laughing at you today, Vegas.
They are. So there, Scott, you're laughing back because you had a hell of a lot more success in your first year than the Kraken did.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, the NFL coming to Vegas. They're taking it over.
Yes.
It's going to be big.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather actually see Wayne Newton up there besides the commissioner giving out the doing the that would be fantastic. Wayne Newton, Mr. Vegas. Maybe Elvis will come back for this too. You never know. If there was ever a time for Elvis to come back, it's the NFL draft. He'd be in your mock draft of rock and roll stars. Who would be your first pick? Elvis? No, not mine.
No,
not mine. All right. Also, Paul Stewart's going to join us today from across the pond. He literally lives across the pond and is the editor-in-chief of buckpower.com. Great website, great historical website. He did a great podcast on the history of the Bucs drafting in the NFL. So Paul's going to join us and regale us with some of his great stories, historical stories about the draft in his lilting Cockney accent. Fabulous. So I hope I described that correctly. Anyway, let's get right to it. And the Rays, as we're going to do a lot of draft talk here, we're going to get to the Rays. We've been talking about the draft, for the Bucs. We know defensive line, tight end, defensive back. That's probably where they're going. We'll get to all that stuff later on. But the Rays get another big win last night, 3-2. And your favorite guy, Kevin Kiermaier, coming through in the clutch. Once again, the clutch leader in that lineup of ours that we have to. I mean, without KK, where would we be right now? Seriously, he has single-handedly offensively won 2 games in 5 days?
Yep.
I mean, I don't think there's anything. Wander Franco might have something to say about that, but offensively, that's what we got right now. Kevin Kiermaier, big
bad
carrying us right now.
Kevin Kiermaier in the bottom of the line.
Not Brandon Lau, not Josh Lowe, not Wander Franco, but KK is carrying us right now offensively.
Just like old times.
Maybe they suggest that the offense is not quite where we need it to be. Can you at least play his home run from last night and let us all regale in the KK greatness at the offensive end?
The KK bomb.
The KK bomb.
Which, by the way, this thing went 431 feet, which kind of knocked my socks off last night when I saw that.
It almost got in the Rays tank, too.
Yeah.
We almost had a PETA protest.
A PETA protest.
They get really mad when the balls land in the – oh, my God.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I'll tell this story later. Go ahead.
Runner goes, and the pitch is shot into right center field. Well tagged, and that's going to get out of here. Home run on a 3-2 pitch. Kiermaier connects, and the Rays have a 3-0 lead.
Pitcher's like, I can't believe I just did that. How the hell did I let that guy hit 431 feet?
Him and Hansel Robles, they got to be killing themselves. This guy. Really?
And to add insult to injury for all you KK haters like my co-host here, just to add insult to injury, not that you only have to see that for the second time before
where this is going.
But you had to see him track down a routine fly ball in right center field.
The patented jump.
Jump up on the jump up when he didn't need to and catch it. You had to sit through that in the multiple replays. I think BA was on the edge of last night. He's made some snarky comments before when KK does that. I don't think he's ever actually come out and called him out on it, but he'll do some really funny passive aggressive, like, look at the height on that jump. Just wanted to make sure that he secured that with that jump. So that's why he may have jumped a little early, but he wanted to make sure he could secure that one. That was one of his better ones.
Oh, it was great. It was just fantastic.
Because if he could just go right to the wall, camp under it, and catch it. But no, no, he had great early jump.
He's
great early jump,
himself, man.
Then he glides into it, checks the wall, and then the little hop up in the air. And just to make sure he gets to the wall, he's got to catch it about 4 feet in front and then jump into the wall.
He's feeling himself. He got 2 home runs in 1 week.
You have to.
He's leading the team right now. Yeah. Be a little jump. I'm feeling myself. Let me do a little jump right here. I got my eye black on. I'm all tough. Yeah.
Oh, you're so easily triggered. That's the best though.
Look at him right here. I'm watching right here. This is what I was going to point up too. Drew Rasmussen has like the start of his life, and Uncle Drew's nasty. Uncle Drew.
You're going to play the Kiermaier interview?
Do I have to play the Kiermaier interview?
Yes. I think he there was a really good moment in this interview I remember watching last night.
Walk-off home run on Monday and another home run today. Safe to say that Randy Arozarena bat is serving you well. From him.
It's doing well. I broke it my last at bat, but it went out a soldier. It treated me well. I got another one. We might have to put an order in though ASAP. But
broke his bat?
Yeah, it felt good. Just trying to be on time for a pitch right there, and that was one of the better homers of my career. That was a really good swing, and I love the fly on the ball right there. So I'll take as many of those as I can get.
Got to bring up Drew Rasmussen. How filthy was he tonight? He got you guys through 6.
Ooh. Uncle Drew was nasty. That's what we all call him. He had everything going for him. Heater, cutter, changeup, curveball. He throws all 4 of those pitches for strikes, and when he does that, he's dangerous.
Cuttery last night.
If we can get that Drew every 5th day, we're going to be in good shape. But he's a workhorse. love when he's out there, and he did great tonight. So hopefully
First
build
time
off
he's gone
that
6, right?
and go from here.
Kevin Cash mentioned wanting to change your fortune against the Mariners this season after what happened last season. Feel pretty good to get this win, considering you play them 7 times in the next 13 days.
Yeah, they've played really well against us the last few years. Last night, it was just another game like that, but felt good to get a win tonight, and we're going to come here and try to win a series tomorrow, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. KK's the man. Did it all last night. Spectacular catch at the wall. And the home run.
Hey, it's good.
And Uncle Drew.
If Mr. Kiermaier wants to get going, he's on a 4-game hitting streak right now.
That's right.
I'm not going to complain.
You better
I'm not
not.
going to complain. It's all in good nature. I love Mr. Kiermaier.
But seriously, we're counting on Kevin Kiermaier to save this offense. I mean, without him last night, we score 1 run against Seattle again.
Hey, you got it when everything's not going right. You got your weakest link stepping up. You take it, right? You take it.
The KK haters just absolutely just astound me. Astound me.
Hey, like every 20-year-old, Rays fan, I also
the Rays would be under 500 if not for his big bat.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I'm trying to tell you right now, like every Rays fan that's 20 years old or even younger, I went through the stage. I had the Kiermaier T-shirt, the only one that they sold in the stores.
Right.
Okay, I had that going on. I had the little eye black.
He's been around that long? We've kept the player that long?
2013.
Wow.
That's when he made his Rays debut, 2013. Wow. Think about that.
Wow.
Chew on that.
Wow. Well, I never thought I'd see the day that the Rays paid him $12 million a year.
Yeah, listen, I was still playing Little League back in the day trying to make catches like Kevin Kiermaier. Okay, I went through that stage.
When did you turn on him?
Huh?
When did you turn on him?
Turn on him?
You did.
I am not turned on him.
Okay, all right.
Just like to have a little fun with Mr. Kiermaier.
He is. I do too. I love the guy. I'm a huge fan.
But he gets going. It's good for the Rays.
Yeah, and if he wants to embellish some of those catches, well, good on you. That's entertainment. That's entertainment,
Baseball's
baby.
Fun.
Baseball is fun. That's right. That's entertainment. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So speaking of Drew Rasmussen, 6 innings pitched, that his longest outing ever. I think 2 hits. No runs, 9 Ks, 19 swings and misses. 19 swings and misses. He had the cutter, was cuttery. He called it last night. Yeah, we can hear that here in a second. And his sweeping breaking ball was devastating. He was coming from all angles, and then the fastball was popping. Fastball was popped. That kid, it seems like he's added an extra pitch because it's like he was kind of a 2-pitch pitcher last year. Now he's got the nice fastball, the really good cutter, and then that sweeping kind of slider that he had last night that was just lights out. That was the pitch.
I don't want to say I told you so. But
you did. You did tell us so.
When I saw this guy, when we acquired him, he was kind of the unknown in that deal. And I did my research, and I'm like, shit, this guy's got all the tools.
Spin rate.
Put him in. I thought he was going to be a back of the bullpen guy at first.
Yeah.
But then last year, because I had so many injuries, Kevin Cash is like, well, let's see if he can give us 3 innings. And he's that. Remember, he got kept up 4, 5. Yeah. And last night he goes 6. And like Kevin Kiermaier said, if you can get some resemblance of that guy every 5th day next to Rasmussen or next to McClanahan, you got something here. And the Rays pitching, I can't really complain about anything.
No, you can't.
But that was
great.
Right there next to McClanahan's last start. That was the best outing of a Rays pitcher all year.
3-2 win for the Rays, and gets them the chance to win this series. A little day baseball today, a little 12:30 start. But we got Uncle Drew from last night.
We got Uncle Drew.
I think they call him Uncle Drew because he kind of reminds you of I don't know, like your uncle with the pocket protector and the glasses but then
everybody's Uncle Mike.
Yeah, but he's kind of a badass underneath.
See, I
can't
get onto Uncle Drew because have you seen the movie Uncle Drew?
No.
See, Uncle Drew's Kyrie Irving to me.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
So Uncle Drew's Kyrie. So I'm like, I can't get past that.
Was there any connection? I don't know. Let's listen to the interview.
We'll listen.
We'll figure it out. Drew. Why they call him Uncle
All right, Drew. KK described your stuff today as filthy. Kevin Cash was pleased, especially before a bullpen tomorrow, that you could get so deep in the game. How did you feel out there?
Yeah, felt really good. Stuff was really good. Pinto did a great job behind home plate. So I thought we had a good game plan going in, and then, really pleased with the execution today.
What specifically felt so good for you?
I thought we had really good command of the curve. So it allowed us to get ahead and create weak contact early. And then I thought the slider was really good today. And so it's really hard to complain about today's outing. Besides the one walk, you guys know me, prefer not to walk guys, but I'll let it slide today.
Was it pretty gratifying also to go that deep in the game, not just because it's a career high for you in pitches, but also because your team needed you to before tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, if we can give those guys do a lot of the heavy lifting for us down in the bullpen. So if we can give them a little bit of a breather, it always is a bonus. So yeah, it felt really good to go deep today.
Were you more pleased with just picking out a couple of numbers, the 9 strikeouts, the 19 swing and misses, the 84 pitches for 6 innings vis-a-vis last time was 79 for 3?
Yeah, we don't talk about that one anymore. The efficiency. I think that's that's something that I've been able to do now pretty consistently, and so the ability to get ahead and then put guys away relatively quickly was something I'll never complain about.
That was Renee's first game behind the plate. Did you spend much time with him in the spring at all? And D, how does the communication go tonight?
Yeah, I mean, he caught me once or twice in spring. I can't remember exactly how many times, but for a guy who is with me, doesn't have a whole lot of experience, he did a really great job calling pitches back there, and he worked really hard to frame anything on the edges. And so it's all the credit to him. He's really talented, and so his ability to pitch, call, and then frame was incredible tonight.
So Renee Pinto, hell of a job last night. The Rays get a 3-2 win. All right, quick break. When we come back, Dan Lucas, News Channel 8 will join us. We'll talk about the Bucs draft coming up, some Bolts chatter as well, and he always likes to talk some baseball, so we'll do that when we come back. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss the including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595, or email him at scott@amstampa.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at palermopa.com. If you've got any issues with your home construction, especially stucco damage, you don't know if you have the long-term damage unless you get somebody to look at it. If you got some cracks in your siding, give Chris Palermo a call. It's a free call. He'll let you know if you have a case. Easy. PalermoPA.com. All right, let's bring in our good friend Dan Lucas from News Channel 8, who has covered a few Bucs drafts in his day. What's up, Dano? How are you?
JP, good morning. Draft day.
Day.
Kevin Costner is wheeling and dealing as we speak.
Yeah, we should
make the picks happen.
Just like the movie, we should have, like, every team should have a love interest theme going on as well, right? You have to have that was such a good movie, except for that. Hey, we got to put a love interest in here. Let's shoehorn this crap into the script here. And I'm like, can we just do the football thing? Why has it got to be a love interest? Why does it have to be that?
I'll tell you what's funny about that. That movie is, it's the inaccuracies and all that. They cram about 6 months of NFL draft preparation into an hour.
Yeah.
But every time it's on, I just watch it.
That's great.
Enjoy it.
It's one. Yeah, it's a great one. So many, and
I love
all the
watching
cameos.
The Jacksonville Jaguar panic. The GM of the Jags is panicking in the film every year. I think it's funny because it's probably a microcosm of life.
There's a lot of truism in there, no doubt about it. A lot of truism. And it's like, and then like, here we go tonight. How are the Jags going to F this up tonight? Let's see how they do it. Trent Baalke, you're on the clock.
They're obviously going to get everything started, and it's for a draft that doesn't have that the grand number one pick of them all. They're going to start the dominoes with their decision, and they've got their options of which direction they want to go. But the thing that I can't wait to see tonight is to see how far these quarterbacks fall.
Yeah.
And how that could see that plays into the Bucs a little bit, where if the quarterbacks start dropping, that means other guys are going. And even though the Bucs even though the Bucs have everything in front of them at 27, it can wait for it to come to that. What's going to be there if these quarterbacks start dropping?
Yes. Here's the best thing that can happen tonight. If you hear the name Desmond Ridder before the Bucs pick, that's going to be the best possible scenario, because that's going to mean Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett are already off the board, and some idiot team is taking yet a third quarterback in this quarterback awful draft. All of these guys, I think Malik Willis has some upside to him, but it's really raw. I don't think they're first round quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett kind of strikes me as a career backup guy. He could throw the football, but not a great athlete, not the best guy in the world. So yeah, I hope these quarterbacks get overdrafted, and that's what these NFL teams do. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm not a huge draft guru. I don't even do mock drafts and that sort of thing. However, I do. We go to the scouting combine every year, and that's where when you can sit and talk to these guys, that's where I start to see who fits and who doesn't, and then you whittle it down. Those who do all the work. I look at their list and I find that consensus.
Yeah.
Okay, what's around the Bucs pick, and they've got. They could be anywhere between offensive line, defensive line. The best tight end available might be there. Kiermaier Elam from Florida. If you want to go with a corner, is there. There's safeties there. They really have choices.
Yeah.
And I think even though it's going to be a long night and maybe a little boring for Bucs fans, I think it's exciting to think that there's somebody long term could be on this team by the end of the night.
Yeah, it seems like a night where they trade down. To be quite honest,
yes.
The general consensus is that the players between like 15 and 65 are all the same, and they're all really good players. So if the more picks you can pick up in that meaty, second round to late third round, maybe even into the fourth, is where you're going to get the value in this draft. I think that's, as you say, the consensus of what all the things I read. And when you start, and it's interesting because when you start getting down to like the 8th or 9th running back, you're like, yeah, that guy can play. Same thing with wide receivers. You're like, yeah, I've seen that guy can really, really play. And linebacker, defensive lineman, you're like, yeah. So there's a lot. I think that's what Jason Licht's going to do. What do you think?
I think, it's funny you say that the trade down. I do think that's a possibility because some of the names that are linked to the Bucs, meaning mostly Devontae Wyatt, the Georgia defensive lineman, is below them, is graded below their pick. And and when I say trade down, maybe he's picked tonight still, but they might, that now they pick up that middle meaty round pick, as you're saying, and still get their guy. And yeah, I think that that's definitely a possibility. I do think that they want to get a guy kind of who can come in here under the same expectations and parameters that Joe Tryon Shoyinka came in last year, where your first round picks, I always think they need to be guys who are going to get on the field and make an impact in some way. Well, they didn't have to throw Tryon on the field. He was in the pecking order.
Right.
And I know he didn't exactly blow us away with his rookie season, but if you saw how he was used, the situations he was put in, he was growing and was allowed to grow. And now I think we have expectations on him in year 2. And I would like to see tonight's pick into the same parameters, especially if it is a defensive lineman or if they get one of those guys that can, one of the offensive linemen. If Zion Johnson is somehow available,
yes,
he's a guy who could get on the field for them and add to the depth that's not needed right now. They acquired Shaq Mason. They took care of the guard issue and put themselves back in a position where they're not having to draft on that need, and there's no panic. So that's why I think it's so wonderful if you're in Jason Licht's shoes.
Yeah, Dan Lucas joining us here from News Channel 8. And yeah, it's always, when you don't have to draft for a certain position. And they've done really well. I was looking at some numbers the other day about the Bucs have the most Pro Bowlers drafted over, I think, since 2017. And they've hit on almost every one of their first round picks has been extremely, I think going back to maybe O.J. Howard, has been very productive. So yeah, they've been very good, especially since Bruce Arians and his crew has gotten here. Jason's got an even better drafter, and I think he's got to be regarded as one of the better ones in the business right now. And he was an eyelash from getting fired 3 years ago. When you think about it.
Everybody. Yeah, this was the Jameis Winston pick 6 against the Falcons on the last day of the season.
Yeah,
was
yeah, like the odds that he was coming. Yeah, the odds that Jason Licht was coming back after that season were, really, really the season before, actually, because that was Bruce's first season. Licht saved his job when he got Bruce Arians to come to the Buccaneers. I think without that, he's probably gone because of the team's record. But some of the picks that he had made had started to build already at that point. And that's why when you look back on this whole Bucs that run with Brady and Arians, so many serendipitous things have happened and magically come together, and that's what it takes. Really does. You got to get lucky.
I agree.
Yeah,
I do think that part of it also, at least in the NFL, is the fact that the Glazers, in certain areas, have shown patience and let things develop. When those of us out here with our torches lit, want people strung up. That the Glazers have been willing to wait and wait and wait. That does eventually come around, and that's what we've seen in recent years with the Bucs for sure.
No doubt. All right, so we'll see what comes off the. What are you guys doing at Channel 8 tonight to cover this and all weekend long?
We're going to be camping out at the Bucs facility tonight. We're going to, as Todd Bowles said, a lot of sitting, a lot of waiting, and a lot of eating. And so hopefully eating. I hope it's going to be on the menu.
Yes.
A lot of that tonight, but we're just waiting. And I think this pick, if they pick at 27, if they hang on to that pick, it's going to be right around 11:30 or a little before or after that. So
you'll be on
you
the
may
news.
have breaking news. Yes, exactly.
Let's go live to Las Vegas. Are you expecting anything fun for the broadcast from Las Vegas? What are the odds that we get a little Wayne Newton, Celine Dion, the guys with the Tigers? There's got to be something like that going on, right?
Siegfried and Roy on stage.
You got to have Siegfried and Roy, right? With the first pick in the NFL draft. Did Jaguars select?
They would ruin Las Vegas for me with more hangover movies because now I can't. I just can never see that city again without Mike Tyson's Tiger and stuff like that. That's the stuff I want to see in the draft.
Yes.
I want to see Phil
or some crazy naked Asian dude chasing you with a jackhammer. Yeah, you know.
that's my Vegas.
That's my favorite. That may be my favorite scene of The Hangover right here.
It's just gonna be fun tonight. I think they'll put on a good production. They do. This is, another sign that everything's, we're flipping the switch back to life. And so let's hope they go grand and go big and go obnoxious because I need the entertainment. You do, and we all need it.
Now you'll be working tonight. I'm not scheduled to work, so I'll be keeping an eye on the draft. I'm not a big draft watcher. I never really have been. I mean, I can only take so much of Mel Kiper's hair for one thing, and it seems so over analyzed. And if you ever go back and look at old footage of drafts and how players turned out, these people sound so idiotic. I'm not saying they're not smart people and they know more than I do and anybody else, but it's such a freaking crapshoot. Everybody acts like they know everything about these players. They have no freaking idea. They have no freaking idea who's going to get not.
Just go back over 10 years and just look at the Raiders picks in the first round and listen to these guys gush over them. and that franchise first round draft picks have just been, hell. Living hell.
You could literally throw a dart at a board and do 10 times better.
Tragic. I know, listen, I can't, the people that put in the work on this, they're the ones that come up with the names we talk about.
Yeah.
And so, I watch college football. I have particular teams I love to watch. And I know the better players and also on their opponents. So, so I know ACC, I know SEC. But I don't know what's really going on in the Pac-12. I watch a couple of games a year. Those guys assemble the database for us, so it gives me a chance to at least do a little research. Yeah. And they hit on a few, so you got to give them a little nod every now and then. But when they say that this is a can't miss and the guy's a total bust.
And I get it; these guys study it more than anybody. But sometimes I think it's really overthought. I think the NFL draft is the most overthought, overanalyzed thing. I think honestly you could get 10 really somewhat smart people that pay attention to football, get them in a room, and their draft success would be about as good as any of these teams that pay gazillions of dollars. No offense, Jason Light. No offense to your scouting staff, but I mean, just look at the results. I mean, seriously, you could just literally pick off the draft boards of PFF and everybody else, and you're pretty much going to do pretty good or really, really bad.
Yeah.
But I don't think it just seems so overanalyzed. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I last time I was with you mentioned that we got down Grant Stewart for our Sunday show last week. And, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the 7th round. And just so I would be semi-educated on it before I talk to him, I'm like, you know what? Let me look at this 7th round and see, were these guys a bunch of duds or what? And so I go in there and I look at the 32 picks, and I discovered that more than 20 of them made their teams, and 3 of them played all 17 games, including Grant. You had a guy with 2.5 sacks. You had a guy with 2 touchdowns. And I said this to Grant, and he said to me, he goes, the drafting, and part of it's the pandemic, and it's changed the process of how people prepared and scouted. But he said, guys, in the past 2 years, these drafts have been kind of wishy-washy, like kind of wacky. Yeah. And he goes, I was told through the process that I was forecasted as high as 3rd round.
Yeah, exactly.
And so as the draft goes on, put yourself in the shoes of these guys at home. If someone said to you, it could be late 3rd round for you, well, that's Friday night into Saturday.
Yeah.
And now you wake up Saturday in a complete panic. Yeah. This guy went all day Saturday going, oh my God, what is going on? Yep. There's a lot of guys who are misdrafted.
Yep.
In the later rounds in particular. But this is what you say. It fits into what you say. It's a crapshoot. But the fact that so many 7th rounders got on teams and had an impact shows you that I think really are diving into these middle and late rounds now.
Absolutely. Hey, what are your thoughts on the Lightning as they head into the playoffs? Just scorching hot, and especially with Kucherov and Stamkos and Hedman just going bananas. It's crazy.
Well, I think they probably got tired of hearing us complain.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely the trajectory that you want. I've seen the Lightning, go into the playoffs both ways, hot and not so hot, and it didn't guarantee a result, but it does instill confidence for sure. I think that they're going to hold off Boston. I think so. It's going to be the Maple Leaf series. That's a difficult assignment. If Boston leapfrogs them, which is going to be mathematically almost impossible, you're looking at Carolina or the Rangers in the first round. This is an absolute gauntlet that they're getting ready to go into. If they play Toronto and get through them, they're bracketed on the Panthers side. So that would be the second round, most likely Panthers.
Yeah.
Brutal. And you're looking for a three-peat. I know the odds are the odds, but I'd rather see them playing the way they're playing now with what they're about to face.
Exactly. I mean, I think we all kind of knew they had another gear in them. We just didn't know if they were going to be able to emotionally and physically get there after all the hockey they've played for so long. But they did, at least for the last few games against playoff teams. We'll see if they can sustain it. I have a sense that they will. I really do. I feel like they've just kind of been, biding their time, a little bored, and it's time to flip the switch. Doesn't mean they're going to win it all, but yeah, like you said, I like the position they're in. Are you? One last question about the Rays. Are you somewhat concerned about their offense? I mean, if KK is carrying you offensively, that's not a good strategy. That's all I'm saying.
No, he should not be the guy that you're relying on for sure. And as exciting as Wander Franco's been, now you're starting to see pitchers approach him differently.
Yep.
And it was mentioned on one of the broadcasts the other night. Pitchers are hitting him with off speed that he's having a little bit of trouble with. So that's going to continue until he proves himself in that sense. But you eke out a win last night. And then, so you can eke out wins to a point. But, and they've been in this position before. Remember when it was, what's wrong with Brandon Lau? Then all of a sudden he's the hottest guy in baseball for 2 weeks. But they've got to get consistency going. And they're just kind of a middle of the pack team right now. And, it's kind of critical, I guess, in April. But, if you eke out these wins, when things together, that's helpful. But, to me, I'm still on the sustainability of the pitching.
Yeah.
And I hope it can stay together and get us into the middle of the summer and then see what happens.
Yeah, this team right now looks like a little over 500 team to me. They're going to have to find a lot more offense, and I think their pitching will be fine and defense will be fine, but they're going to have to find some offense somewhere. I don't. Guys are going to have to get more locked in. A lot of guys are going to have to get better and grow in their young careers or something, or they're going to have to go out and find a big bat that they just couldn't get in the off season. So we shall see. All right. Thanks, Dano. Appreciate your time as always, my friend. Enjoy the draft tonight. May see you over there at $1. So waiting till midnight to get an interview with Todd Bowles, but we shall see. Thanks, buddy.
All right, JP, be good.
All right. This story just dropped. Stuart Sternberg seeks to consolidate minority owners' lawsuits against him. Motion filed Wednesday in Pinellas County argues the suits are too similar and could yield inconsistent verdicts. What's interesting, and I've just kind of perused this, I'll read it more in the break, but this story is what's interesting about the Times stories is they always mention this. Collectively own about 9.6% of the club, which is the minority partners that are suing him. They try to diminish Sternberg's activities in these every story they've ever written. They never write about the $500 million that he allegedly moved into another solely owned company of his own. Then that is the most damning fact that nobody knows. And all the stories they write, they never mention it. Why is that? Why do you think they never mentioned the $500 million in cash? Well, that's interesting. Their newspaper, it seems like a pertinent fact in any discussion of this lawsuit whatsoever. And yeah, just not. I don't see a whole lot of new in this one. Of course, they always mention Sternberg's attorneys and how they're defending him, but they never mention the merits of the suit itself. It's never equal, ever. The second suit filed in February argued that limited liability corporation held by Sternberg, as well as the department managed by Ray's general counsel and senior vice president John Higgins, held back key financial documents related to revenue and taxable income. Sternberg's attorney have not yet filed a response to that suit. But they never mentioned the $500 million. The motion to consolidate lawsuits outlined a half dozen allegations common to both, including some important documents were not disclosed. Others appeared to have been manipulated, altered, and backdated. These are the things that Sternberg allegedly did, but again, not really clearly connected to him in the article. The motion argues the consolidating would eliminate duplicative trails and possibility of inconsistent verdicts. A lot of legalese here. I don't think it has a whole lot to do with the outcome of the case. Looks procedural and matter to me, although I'm not an attorney, but I will ask one during the break. And hopefully Christopher Palermo, I don't believe he can come on today, but we'll get him on to I know he's been studying the case the last couple of weeks. So he'll bring us up to date. Maybe next week we'll do that. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, Paul Stewart's going to join us from across the pond. He is the editing general manager of buckpower.com, the website, a great historical website on the Bucks. And we're going to talk about draft day stories. Stay with us. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home. It's a much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders to get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. And we are so pleased to have back into the show the great Paul Stewart from BuckPower.com, longtime friend. Used to do a across the pond segment with us every on one of my older shows. What's up, Paul? How are you?
Great to talk to you again, JP. You still look as young as ever. I'm looking a lot older these days.
You're still a much better golfer than I am, though. Look at all those trophies behind you. Oh,
lots of Bucks pictures as well, JP. Lots of Bucks pictures.
Yes. We were talking in the private chat. You likened the great Stu Sternberg to the infamous Hugh Culverhouse, but those two should be paired in a hall of shame of owners somewhere, in my opinion.
I think it's great. It's funny that of the three big Tampa sports, they've all been really successful. You've got Jeff Finnick, who's just an unbelievable job with the Lightning. The Glazers have done a very, very good job with the Buccaneers. Yes. From what we go back to in the 80s and 90s. You just want to see the Rays do the same because there's no better front office than the Rays baseball in terms of what they do with the money they have.
Yeah, if they were just given an average payroll or $100 million payroll, just imagine what they could do. And yeah, and worse than that, it's for the fans to not have a stadium. We should be playing in that new stadium this year. Should have done the deal back in 2018 that they love so much. And he's just in out the street, just trying to make as much money as he possibly can. And I really feel like he has no regard for fans play, because there'd be a lot more fans in there if they did ticket specials, and that would be great for the players. But he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I think what's interesting, I see it obviously from a occasional visitor, because I come over to Florida each year, as you know. I always go to a Bucks game, amazing atmosphere. I've seen you obviously at the Lightning. In fact, we met at the game last year. Amazing atmosphere. You go to a Rays game and it's like, okay, where's the excitement? Where's the enthusiasm? And it's not the fault of the Rays fans. They're doing the best they can. There's just not enough of them who can go there to see it.
Yeah, it's just if they did it right and they had a beloved owner, it would have great success, but we'll see. All right, so you guys did a great podcast, caught a little bit of it, draft history. Nobody knows more Bucks history than you, my friend. And there were so many missteps for so long. Just give me a kind of a flavor of some of those top stories that really kind of hit for you.
Well, one of the best stories we had was from 1982 when the Bucks actually drafted the wrong player in the first round. And what happened is in those days, you had a guy sitting in New York, in Music City, who would be on the phone to the front office. And the Bucks were enamored with a player called Booker Reese, a defensive end from Bethune-Cookman. And they couldn't just, the argument was, would they take him or an offensive lineman, Sean Farrell? So they told Pat Marcello, who was in New York, Music City, to have the two cards ready. And then they phoned him to say, we're not going with Farrell, draft Reese. Well, he didn't hear the phone properly, heard the name Farrell, wrote the card out. John McKay and all the guys are sitting at one Buck place, and up it comes on ESPN. The Bucks are drafting Sean Farrell. And of course, they went crazy. They then traded away a future first-round pick to draft Booker Reese, who turned out to be one of the biggest busts in team history. Only the 1980s Bucks could have done it.
What a disaster. And then, of course, there was the Bo Jackson mishap with Hugh Culverhouse, and we later found out that Hugh had set him up as a great Alabama alum that Hugh had set up the Auburn running back to get his last baseball season at Auburn nullified by an NCAA violation. Of course, he wasn't going to come play for the Bucks. It's ridiculous.
It's interesting. Steve Young brought out an autobiography 2 or 3 years ago, and he met up with Bo Jackson and Culverhouse before the draft. And Culverhouse excused himself to go to the bathroom. And Bo turned around to Steve and said, I'm never going to come and play here. You know, he was admitting it from weeks before. I'm not going there. And yes, he did all the right, pictures with Pete Rozelle at the draft. But of course, he was never going to play. But I don't think anything will ever be as bad as the 1986 Buccaneers.
Yes, that's a bad football team. That's a really bad football team.
They were bad. Greg Schiano had a good go at getting close to it, but Lehman Bennett takes the biscuit.
Oh, and it's how amazing is it to see what Jason Light's been able to do. And we were just talking about this. He was a whisker away from getting fired before he got Bruce Arians to come back, and then that just turned his whole fortunes and the team's fortunes around.
I think it is. I mean, fans are very fickle. 1 minute, you were talking earlier about certain baseball players, Brandon Lau being criticized, then turns into the whammer, and now, of course, everyone's going, Wander Franco can't hit the changeup. It's how sports radio and media works. So you had Buccaneer draft picks like Ali Marpet and people going, we don't need an offensive lineman. Suddenly the Bucs become successful. He's a Pro Bowler. Because that's how the sports media work. So there are always going to be busts and steals in every draft. You've got to give them time. And even then you can go back and go, well, it was the right pick. We didn't know this was going to happen. So I always put my trust in the front office. And like you say, every front office knows more than Mel Kiper and all the talking heads.
Yeah, it's a kind of just throw a dart at the board at some point. And but hey, listen, some franchises have just not been able to get it right. As much as the the NFL tries to make it even for every team. I mean, he tries to give the worst teams a much better shot at winning. We keep continuing to screw it up. And when you look back at what the futility of the Bucs, that's exactly what they were doing. They just could not draft for the life of them. I mean, talk about some of the horrible draft picks that they made. Infamous.
Oh God, how long have we got? We got a 6-hour show.
We got a few more minutes. Go ahead, regale us.
I think one of the best ones, I mean, if you go back to 1989, the Bucs had the 6th overall pick. Now, they won the final game of the 88 season, so they picked 6th instead of 3rd. I'll give you the first 5 picks of the 89 draft. Troy Aikman, Tony Mandarich, Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, and Derek Thomas. 4 of those 5 are in the Hall of Fame. The Bucs picking 6th, Broderick Thomas. Everyone around Florida right now is going, who? Exactly. So that's why, because they won that last game, they didn't get Barry Sanders. And then we get to 1990, they've got the 4th overall pick, and they take Keith McCants from Alabama, who had knee issues. And Ray Perkins, the coach, even said, oh, if it doesn't work out, I won't be here anyway. Oh, thanks for the long time planning there, coach. Thanks a lot.
I look at some of these other names of they drafted in
Charles McCray, Eric Curry.
McCray with the 7th overall pick. Awful.
I know. I mean, it's, and at the time you go back and go, oh, what a fantastic pick. This is the player we need. You just never know. But of course, then again, the Bucs had a whole losing mentality, and you're coming in and you're putting a lot of pressure on one person to change that mentality. Look at Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. Look, other young quarterbacks. If they're the 1st overall pick, they're going to the worst team in the league. Now, Vinny Testaverde had an authoritarian coach in Perkins and was dealing with the 2 years of the worst football you've ever seen. There's no way he could turn it round. So I think once Tony Dungy came in and the franchise turned round in the mid-90s, then the draft picks had more chance to succeed.
Yeah, well, when you've got better eyes, it just underscores how important it is to get great talent evaluators, to have a great GM, to have great head coaches and the coaching staff that really does a lot of the scouting in the scouting department. That's a huge part, because, guys with their eyes, if they can find those players like a Warwick Dunn, a Derek Brooks. I always like the undersized guys that are very productive in big programs. They always seem to work out. And that's kind of a formula that Rich McKay and Tony Dungy used with their drafting.
They definitely did. I mean, look at 95 is the best example, JP, when they really did. They almost cut the coaching staff and Sam Wyche's team out of the evaluating progress. And it was Tim Ruskell and McKay and Angela and all the other people were there. And they drafted down. They got Warren Sapp because they thought he was going to fall. They then traded back into the first round and got Derek Brooks. 2 Hall of Famers with consecutive picks. I hope it gets as good as that this year, but I don't think it ever will.
No, I think that's one of the greatest drafts of all time. I don't know if maybe the Steelers had a couple of drafts where they drafted 2 Hall of Famers.
75 was their famous one. They had all the Hall of Famers in that one. Yeah. That's the nearest thing I can compare it to. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and they went out, they got Mike Allstott in the 2nd round. They got Donnie Abraham in the 3rd round. Really guys that were very key to their, they got Rondé Barber in the 3rd round. Jerry Wunsch and Frank Middleton, offensive linemen that played key roles. So, they just finally really figured out the draft, and that's what and they went out and got Brad Johnson and Simeon Rice and added to that good draft core that they already had. And
I think what's funny about the Mike Allstott pick is the Bucs were not intending to draft him at all. They were going to take a running back in the 2nd round in '96, and they were after Leland McElroy, and Arizona took him with the pick before. And hence, because of that, they drafted the A-Train. Sometimes things just happen for a reason, JP.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest whiffs that we've ever had, and these are the picks and the moves that aren't made, was in 2005 when John Gruden selected Cadillac Williams with the 5th overall pick, and it was the 3rd running back coming off the board. They were expected to go quarterback that year, and there was Aaron Rodgers just sitting there in the waiting room, and the Green Bay Packers actually thought that the Bucs, who had talked to them about trading, were going to call, and they were going to make the deal. They were going to trade the pick and let the Bucs select Aaron Rodgers, and the Bucs never made the call.
I think so. I think they put their fortunes in Chris Sims at that point. Obviously, hindsight can tell now. Rodgers is still playing. Sims is an analyst. But you look at 05 and the Bucs took high quality people. Cadillac was a very good draft pick. Barrett Ruud in the 2nd round. Alex Smith was a very good 3rd round pick. The 05 draft is definitely one of the more successful ones in terms of players they did select.
Yeah, it ended up being pretty good, but it could have been franchise changing.
Of course.
And those are the things that make draft day so incredible. So where do you think the Bucs are going this year? What do you expect?
Oh, this is where, right now, again, all the chips are on the table for one more run. And I don't think, the Bucs aren't going to find a player at 27 who's going to be a complete difference maker this season. And there's no way you trade up to try and get a player like that if there is one. So this is the old, I know it's a cliche, and I hate to quote the Talking Heads, best athlete available. You go for that, whether it's defensive line, offensive line. We know the Bucs in the next 2 or 3 years are going to be rebuilding. They're going to have a whole salary cap year when it all comes, the bill comes due. That's fine.
Probably next year.
For the success now. So take the best player and worry about that in a couple of years' time. Enjoy this year for what it is. One more run at trying to win another Super Bowl.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. Try to find some defensive chips or people that can help you now. And it's still all about that and going all in. I think the rebuild year might be next year, but who cares? You got
Correct.
one more
year. Who cares? We've won. The Bucs have won 2 Super Bowls in 20 years. There are teams that would die just to be there.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, it won 2 Super Bowls, had a great shot last year, and I think have a great shot this year. This offense is going to be among the top 3 in the game. Todd Bowles is now in charge of everything, but I think he's very focused on the defense. I think they add a couple of pieces in this draft that can help them defensively, a defensive tackle and a defensive back. And I think this team's going to be ready to go. Obviously the Vegas thinks they're the favorites in the NFC. So along with the Rams. So enjoy it while you can, right? We got one more year of Brady. We know that, right?
This is it. On my wall over here, I've got all these pennants from Tampa Bay sporting success. I've got Lightning pennants, Rays pennants, Bucks pennants. I've still got a little bit more room for a couple more. So I've got no problem with a 3-peat for the Lightning and a 3rd Super Bowl for the Bucks.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the Lightning to get through this gauntlet that is the East, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Why not us? They're playing some red hot hockey right now. It's fun to watch. And Stammer's resurrection this season has been absolutely phenomenal to watch.
It is. Those of you who don't know, I actually watch all the Tampa Bay sports as live the following morning. I'll watch Bucks games live in the middle of the night. So tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. my time, I'll be watching the Lightning's game against Columbus, and then I'll watch the Rays game against Seattle after that. So I'm a fan, but I might do it a few hours afterwards because of the time difference we have over here. But, first thing in the morning, watch the Lightning game, puts me in a great mood when they win. And 26 goals in the last 4 games? You've been busy announcing all these goals, JP.
Oh my gosh! Thank God that's Paul Porter's job and not mine. But I have to do the highlights. We only have so much
on
time.
The highlights and the intermissions. You've got all these things to review.
I know we've got 4 to 5 goals per highlight reel. I'm like, they don't give me that much time. I got to get through them, but we do it, and we have fun doing it. So, hey, tell the people once again how they can listen to your podcast and get all your great content.
Well, the website is called buckpower.com. It's absolutely free to access. It's been going now for over 20 years. We reached 100 million hits earlier this year.
Wow.
That's quite a lot. It's
That's
amazing how many times I can hit F5. All the podcasts are on there. We do podcasts where we go back and look at old games in Bucks history and tell the story. I've had former players come on. Randy Grimes has been on. Come on, talk about it, talk about the old days with some of the former players. But yeah, buckpower.com is where you can find me. I'm on social media and Twitter, and we're currently doing a countdown of the top 100 plays in Bucks history. So we've got a famous one today from when the defense deliberately let the Jets score so we could get the ball back for James Wilder.
That's right. That's a great play in Bucks history and a historic one at that. And I was all for it, actually. All right, thanks, Paul. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks,
Take care, guys.
It's great, Paul Stewart from across the pond. Good stuff. And we got that on StreamYard. I think we need to get all our guests on StreamYard moving forward.
I like it.
It's easy.
I like the dynamic of it.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks good on the.
Although that trip down memory lane hurt a little bit.
Oh, how do you draft the wrong guy?
I didn't even know that story. That was before my time, and I heard that. And I'm like, well, it's now very on Bucks to do something like that. And of course, he turned out to be a bust. And then I'm looking at you. You have the whole draft history here, and I'm like,
that run of, you want to talk about awful football, and you have for so many. What did they go? 14 years of losing seasons. And these are high picks. Like, of course, they drafted well early. They took Paul Gruber in the 88 draft, the 4th overall. But then this run, Broderick Thomas with the 6th overall pick, Danny Peoples, wide receiver from North Carolina State, with the 33rd overall pick. Are you kidding me? Then Keith McCants in 1990, bust. Charles McCray with the 7th overall pick in 91, bust. 92, Courtney Hawkins. They didn't even have a number 1 pick. I guess that's the one they screwed up. Courtney Hawkins, wide receiver. Heard of him? No. 93, Eric Curry with the 6th overall pick. Oh, my God. Trent Dilfer with the 6th overall pick. Love Trent to death, but he wasn't the 6th overall pick. And then 95, Sapp and Brooks. Clifton Abraham also in that draft was a pretty good corner for a little while. Come on. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You got to go out and draft good players.
It's a lot better than what I grew up on, which was seeing Gaines Adams and what was 09?
That was another bad
09,
stretch.
Josh Freeman.
Yeah. Adrian Claiborne.
Mark Barron, Adrian Claiborne. Remember Daquan Bowers?
Yep.
Remember him? He was like the number 1 overall pick, got hurt. The Bucks got him at like 51. And they were like, he's going to be a Pro Bowler. No.
Gaines Adams, Aaron Sears, Sabi Piccatelli, Quincy Black. Those were the top 4 in the top 60. In the top 60.
Tenard Jackson in there somewhere.
Tenard Jackson was 106. He was actually a pretty good player. He just couldn't stay off the weed. Mr. Jackson, 2008 wide receiver, Appalachian State. That dude. He didn't get any. No, wait. Oh my God. He played in 7 games, never had a catch. That's right. That's right. He never had an actual catch in a game because he didn't even make the team.
No.
It's 2nd round pick, 58th overall pick, a wide receiver from Appalachian State. Gruden swore by him. He's like, oh, he's fast. I was like, are you kidding me?
I had a question, by the way. Speaking of like Cadillac Williams, who was it? I think he was a decent pick, but
remember Gruden ran him like 40 times a game for the first 6 games of his career.
I was gonna say, like, I think he might have been like the 3rd running back off the board.
Yeah,
at
he
like
was
6.
He was the 3rd running back off the board and as the 5th overall.
That did not age well.
No.
And
he was the 2nd best running back on his team in college.
Yeah.
Ronnie Brown went to the Dolphins, and Cedric Benson went to the Bears, and then Cadillac. We took Cadillac.
So
with freaking Aaron Rodgers on the board.
So if I'm not mistaken, was John Gruden fond of him because his nickname was Cadillac?
Yes.
And he probably was like, was like, I'm going to have a guy named Cadillac
Yes.
in my backfield.
That's just Scott Reynolds told that story the other day.
Is that a John Grudenism?
Yes.
It had to have been, right?
Yes.
It makes sense then. There you go.
I mean, it was just
There's Aaron
god-awful.
Rodgers right there, but no, his name's Cadillac. So
Don't need it.
going back a little further, a name that we didn't talk about the other day when we were trying to think of the best mid-round picks, and he popped up the other day to me, Tony Mayberry, who played, I think, like 11 years with the Bucs.
Yeah, a great
three-time
center.
Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, if you're picking the fourth round, you get a three-time Pro Bowl center. I mean, he's one of those guys too that goes untalked about.
So huge when you hit on those guys. When you hit those third and fourth guys, they don't even have to be Pro Bowlers, but they could just be starters.
And they've done good with with the guards and centers. Like I think of him, Alan Marpet, who we talked about. Davin Joseph was pretty good for a stretch, I'd say. They've had a pretty good hit rate on those guards.
The 19 draft, they took Devin White, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Jamel Dean. I mean, it's what you want about SMB. You know, he had 3 picks in the postseason when we won a Super Bowl. You know, that's a big deal. You know, I wouldn't say he's an elite corner, but for the 39th overall pick, if you can get that out of him, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Jamel Dean has been a consistent starter for this team. Mike Edwards, they got in the 3rd round. Anthony Nelson, they got in the 4th round, who's a really good player. Not a great player, but a really good player. Drafted Matt Gay, who's not our kicker, but he's the Rams. He's a Super Bowl kicker. Scotty Miller was in the 6th round, the guys that played, and they were Terry Beckney Jr. was playing for somebody. You know, Vita Vea. Ronald Jones II. That turned out to be, I'd call him a bust. As a 2nd round pick, 38th overall.
Who are you talking about?
Ronald Jones, Rojo. And bust might be a little strong.
Underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like OJ Howard to me is a bust.
Yeah. But they got in that draft, they got Carlton Davis in the 2nd round, Alex Kappa in the 3rd round, Jordan Whitehead in the 4th round, and Justin Watson in the 5th round. Not bad. I mean, if you're picking guys that are making your team, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You're doing contributing. You're doing okay.
And at least, but I'd love to see outside of Chris Godwin. Wait, Jason was here in 2014, so he picked Mike Evans, right?
Yeah, that was his first year.
Yeah.
I think.
Because I'm trying to think, like, he hasn't had the greatest hit rate with other receivers outside of Godwin and Evans. Like, remember when he went on a run there, Kalen Clay and Kenny Bell and Robert Huron.
But those were lower picks.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've tried Jalen Darden, 4th round pick.
Yeah.
I don't think they've always had the greatest success rate with those late round receivers
or running backs.
Yeah. I think that's where probably fit. But I mean, he keeps adding to the secondary, and that's you go off of what Jason Licht has done. That's what tells me tonight. I just feel like it's going to be a secondary pick.
Yeah,
if they keep it.
A second, like a defensive back.
Yeah, secondary pick, I think,
or defensive tackle. That I think they're going or defensive tackle. Edge rusher too. I think they could add one of those. I think anybody they think they can be a playmaker. Lewis Dean, we both have mocked as our guy to the Bucs. I think Bowles is his stamp on this draft is going to be going playmaker early.
Yeah. What's crazy about it, everybody's picking Lewis Dean now to the Bucs. Everybody is. So I'm thinking, is it really going to be him? Is everybody going to nail this right here? That's Lewis Dean. Never really goes like that.
No.
Logan Hall's picking up a lot of steam.
Yep.
And I heard,
but both of those guys are what? They're versatile impact players.
And I think
on the defensive side.
Yeah. And I was also listening to Scott yesterday, and he was talking about Logan Hall, and he said he reminds him of Will Golston.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people will go, well, why would you want to draft a Will Golston in the 1st round? Well, Will Golston has started 10 years for the Bucs.
Are you kidding me?
And if you're getting a 10-year starter in the back half of the 1st round,
5.5 sacks, 6.5 sacks.
I think he had a career high of 4 or 5.
But, yeah, I mean that's legit.
But if you're getting a solid starter for 10 years, you take that, right?
And he was a 4th round pick.
Yeah. So, Logan Hall may not be a sexy pick. But it sounds like, and Scott's very plugged in, and as he always is, and he kind of thinks that it's leaning Logan Hall, that would be the pick for the Bucs. But who knows? It might be another name. I mean, the secondary outside of Lewis Dean, there's like 5 or 6 safeties who could probably go right there because the draft, like you said, 15 to 65 is pretty interchangeable.
Yeah, and then you never know who's going to fall, and you never know why. You never know what. Like I'm surprised right now. We're going to take a break and check the wire. But this is about the time where some stupid ass story is going to drop on somebody. There's going to be a La'el Collins, who I begged the Bucs to draft. Remember him?
Yeah.
1st round pick projected.
Yeah.
The 2 nights before something came up, and I guess his girlfriend was murdered, And even though he was not a
call that.
Well, or somebody close to him, and even though he was not a suspect in any way, he fell off the draft board.
6th-round pick, I think.
Yeah, and then and the Cowboys got a steal, and I was like,
how about a very timely Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah,
was the franchise left tackle, and literally right before the draft, the whole gas mask video.
Yeah, and then last year it was Aaron. It was Schefter leaking the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Remember?
Yeah. It's like everything moves so quick. I'm like, Aaron Rodgers story.
Yeah.
And I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, that was like, oh, Packers are going to trade him before the draft. That's going to go, just going to make up the draft. The whole draft's going to be effed
the
up.
one right now is Baker Mayfield. The Panthers are going to trade for Baker Mayfield so they don't have to take a quarterback with the 6th pick.
Why is Baker Mayfield? I mean, I swear to God, ESPN spent an hour of every show on him this week.
Know.
Why is he even a player? He's a relegated to a has-been backup. We're still talking about him? Like, are you kidding me? Again, I think, and Dan Orlovsky's like, he's the steal of the draft. Baker Mayfield is the steal of the draft because, someone's going to trade a 4th-round pick to get the number 1 overall pick. Well, he's not the number 1. He's not regarded as a number 1 overall pick anymore. We know what he is. He's a maybe a little above average when you put a lot of good things around him, got a good defense and a bunch of weapons, a good running game. Okay, I can name probably 10 or 15 guys that can be productive in that environment.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see anybody wanting to pay $20 million a year for Baker Mayfield.
The reason why Carolina makes so much sense is because from what we're hearing, Rule likes them, number 1. Number 2, they have the 6th overall pick, and they don't pick again until the 3rd round. They have one of the worst O-lines in the league. You probably want to grab one of those franchise left tackles at 6 because there's 3 that you could take right there.
Yeah, that would be smart.
Rather than go with a quarterback who you may or may not be sold on.
Is Sam Darnold still there?
He's still there.
Well, then they're paying him $20 million, I think, on his 5th-year option.
I don't know if they're paying him $20 million, but yeah, he's still there. But I don't think they want to go down that route.
Is Sam Darnold any different than Baker Mayfield? They're the same dude.
Baker Mayfield in
this
his
is
defense,
Matt Rule thinking, well, he's not good enough. Sam Darnold's not good enough, so I got to go get somebody else. No, you don't. Your team sucks, and you're not a very good coach.
Baker Mayfield has made the playoffs, though, and he's proven that he can win at least 7, 8, 9, 10 games.
You don't think if I put Sam Darnold on that Cleveland team, that they would go to the really?
Sam Darnold is a different beast. I don't know. I don't see it.
I don't know how you can make any judgment at all on that dude having played for the Jets, that disaster of a franchise, and then last year no Christian McCaffrey, no awful offensive line. I mean, come on, this is what I'm talking about, quarterback evaluation. People think that he can't do it in the NFL. I mean, look at the situation he's put in. How do we even know?
If Matt Rule runs it back again with Sam Darnold, that is him essentially throwing in the towel on not only the season, but his job.
Go get Malik Willis. Malik Willis. Please go get Malik Willis. Or draft Kenny Pickett. Or please go get one of those. Go overdraft one of those guys and pass on a franchise left tackle, Carolina Panthers. And while you're at it, Falcons, you do the same thing. That's my dream mock. Malik Willis to the Panthers, Kenny Pickett to the Falcons. That's my dream mock. And may this come back and bite me in the ass when the Falcons and the Carolina Panthers are in the playoffs and these guys are franchise quarterback. Not going to happen, ever. But they'll pass on guys who can play in this league for 10 years. So please do. I invite you.
That's why
go in search of your quarterback. It's the epic journey that sucks. God, if Buccaneer fans don't know that.
Could you imagine if Brady had stayed retired and at the moment we were still looking at Gabbard and Trask? How to talk about a quarterback right now at 27?
If Brady doesn't come here, Jameis Winston's still here. But maybe Teddy Bridgewater.
I think
probably, actually we'd assign Teddy Bridgewater.
And I think Teddy Bridgewater would have been here for 1 year and they would have said no. I think last year they last year they would have been in the top 15 picking and they would have taken one of those 5 quarterbacks.
All I know is whatever the scenario, it would have been a disaster compared to what we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
So Mike Florio goes crazy with your Dolphin rumors and your Sean Payton. Yeah. And you're going to get Tom Brady down there. He's going to be, good for you. Maybe that happens next year, but guess what? This year it's not happening. He's playing for the Buccaneers. And that's all I give a crap about.
You like to, by the way, on that. Remember the report about Chris Sims at the 2nd round pick? And everybody was like, oh, well, Chris Sims said it. Who's Chris Sims best friends with again? Who's he work for?
Mike Florio?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So let me see where he got his information from.
Don't be bad mouthing my man Chris Sims. We love Chris Sims.
I'm not bad mouthing Chris Sims. I'm bad mouthing the people that are going hook line.
He
like this.
He ruptured his spleen just so I could get on with Bob Costas, the highlight of my career. So I owe him. Yeah.
It wasn't a Chris
I owe
Sims.
him that.
It's not a Chris Sims. It's with the people that are hook, line, and sinker. Like he said it, so it's true.
I always say thank you, Chris, for rupturing your spleen and almost dying, so I could get on national TV.
Wasn't that another thing Gruden kind of did to him?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he kind of did it to himself. He didn't want to come out of the game because the knock on Chris was that he wasn't tough, which is complete BS. He played through injuries at Texas. He just got hurt a lot. He wasn't a really big guy. And he tried to gut it out, and he just didn't realize that his freaking spleen was ruptured, and he almost died. Like really.
Yeah, I heard the story. It gets him emotional, obviously, when he talked about it.
Yeah. That would not have been good. All right, we will take a break, and when we come back, we'll do some more draft talk. We'll scour the wires for the latest nonsense. I'm telling you, something's going to bust right here soon. So we'll do that. We'll talk some more Rays and some other interesting things about the draft, like who's going to be covering the draft tonight. How will you be watching the draft tonight? Stay with us.
The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. FanStream.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. JP Peterson Show brought to you by the Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour. Christopher Lugo and his medical team over there are taking new patients right now. One of the few practices that are, because they're expanding, and they'd love to have you over there. They take a lot of time with you. They'll spend 45 minutes to an hour on your initial consultation, and they'll find out what's going on in your life, what kind of supplements you're taking, what your diet looks like, what your exercise routine is like, and they will make some very, very highly educated and well thought out recommendations. As I said, he works with the military, works with our top pilots to keep them top shape. He can do the same for you. If you're looking for testosterone replacement, that's one of the areas where he is an expert. So check it out, BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com. Get all the information there. Give them a call. They'll do a free consultation for you, get you all set up, and you can start your march towards good health with some of the best cutting edge information and techniques in medicine today. Modern medicine, Bay Area Modern Medicine. That's them, BAMMC.com. All right. A couple other stories I want to get to here today. It may not be of Tampa Bay note. Kyler Murray has had his fifth-year option picked up by the Cardinals. His fifth-year option is worth $29 million. $29 million. And he says he's not coming to work this year until he gets a new contract that pays him $50 million, in essence. So that is a highly debatable topic. For me, I think if you're Kyler Murray, you duck your head, and if you're clearly confident in yourself, put your head down, work your ass off, be a good teammate, inspire your troops, go out there and kick ass, and stop taking the team's logos off your website, off your social media, and acting like a child. Go earn your $29 million, and you'll be fine. That's where your focus needs to be.
Can we win playoff games?
Yeah. Everybody's clowning you, bro. I mean, you're not there yet. Sorry. I mean, you can sit there and try and take your ball and go home, but that all that's going to do is sink your franchise.
Yeah. I'm just not a fan. I don't know if I'm old school in this or what. I understand everybody's going to trying to get their bag and respect to it. I get it. The injuries. He's a smaller quarterback that plays I don't want to say he plays a reckless style. He's more conservative with the running than others, like Lamar Jackson, for example. But again, he has won nothing in this league. Nothing. Yes. And the Cardinals last year were 9-1 at one point. Now I know Kyler Murray got hurt, but when he came back,
want to do.
But when he came back from and he's had injury issues already.
Yes.
When he came back from the injury, it's no sugarcoat it. He was not good. You can blame it on you can blame it on the injury. You can put whatever excuse you want in front of it. He was not good. And that playoff game against the Rams, he was awful. Awful. And he had no chance against the Rams. Now, and y'all want to give a guy like that $50 million?
Nope.
Be my guest.
Not me.
Be my guest. Great to Kyler Murray. You got $50 million a year. But can we start putting money in the hands of people who've won something? Please.
Yes. It's like everybody who may be a franchise quarterback who has not discounted themselves already, with all due respect, I don't see Daniel Jones out there, screaming and yelling for a new quarterback. Now, I know he hasn't had the success that Kyler Murray has, but that's another dumpster fire of an organization as well. But again, Kyler's had some success, but it's not where it needs to be. And the other part, just the lack of great leadership. And I mean, I love the kid as a football player. He's as dynamically talented as anybody I've seen in this game, but there's just something about him that is not, how should I say? It just doesn't have the gravitas yet to be able to act like that.
He doesn't come off as the biggest leader. He just doesn't. And
you in that position, you have to be.
And you have to be. And that's why we nitpick quarterbacks, because it's the most important position on the field. And if you're in it, I don't have any issues with him character-wise or anything like that. There's nothing that off the field, none of that. It's just I just don't get that vibe that, like Russell Wilson, I look at him, he exudes leadership. He prides himself on being a leader. The great ones do. Joe Burrow, for crying out loud. Who just went to if you're going to pay somebody $50 million right now, pay that guy $50 million.
Yeah.
because he's actually won something in this league or came damn close to it.
Well, he won the AFC.
So that's what gets on my nerves when everybody's talking about Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert. I put those three guys in the same categories. Everybody wants to give them $50 million. Show me what they've won.
Yes.
Show me what they've won.
And the guy who's won most says, I'll take less money. I mean, what do you want to like? I'm not saying you have to try and walk in his shoes, but maybe look at the template that he's created and go, that seems to have worked pretty well. Maybe I should follow that template.
Well, I don't know. Tom Brady still gets his money. Don't make a mistake.
No, he does.
You saw the way it's spaced out. He's got like $20 million and like a bonus that he's going to hit every single one of them this year, and he'll end up making like $35 million. We know that.
Yeah.
But generally, yes, he has taken less money. He's not out here saying I need $50 million on this contract upright.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that does help the team. And there's the reason why we've been over it, why Devontae Adams isn't a Packer and why Tyreek Hill is not a Chief.
There you go. And I think people are going to find out that there's a lot more to that than not. Like, I think this, I'm not going to say the Chiefs offense is going to struggle, but it may not have that explosive impact that it had over those many years. I mean, it's going to take a little while. I understand that Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson have come in the last couple of years and been incredibly successful, and they've been put in, pretty good situations to do so. With working with quarterbacks that can get them the ball. So I don't know. It'll be interesting tonight to see how this whole thing plays out in the draft. Very, very interesting. By the way, you were telling me there's some interesting notes in the broadcast. Kirk Herbstreit cannot go to the draft because he's got a blood clot.
Yeah,
wasn't he like triple vaccinated? I think 17 boosters.
Come on.
All right, it's not me that calls it the clot shot. It's the
he's got a medical
condition. All the cardiologists. And Mel Kiper can't go because he's unvaccinated.
Yes, he put out a statement last week, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. So he won't be there for the first time in forever.
Yeah, in a long time. No.
Yeah.
But he'll still be, I think he'll still be like on TV.
Oh, of course, yeah. They'll have him in his draft room, I'm sure. No doubt about it. Any other little tidbits from the broadcast? I haven't seen any big stuff, but I imagine they're going to have some crazy stuff going on tonight, right?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up the full broadcast coverage that ESPN had, because I told you this, that I guess I don't understand, and I'm trying to pull it up here so it make more sense. But basically, ESPN is sending a lot of people to the draft to cover this thing, like a lot of people. And it's going to end up, to me, it just kind of looks like an episode of NFL Countdown or NFL Live. Basically, it's like the same crew, like right. Marcus Spears, Minas Kimes, Dan Orlovsky, whatever. Here it is right here. Yeah. NFL Live, 3 to 5. Yeah. Spears, Orlovsky, Mina Kimes, Keyshawn, Ryan Clark. And then tonight, Greeny's there, Booger, Mortensen, Darlington, Sal Pal, our boy Sal Pal's there. So they have all these people. The best. Yeah, they have two broadcasts on ESPN and ABC. The ABC one is RG3, Jesse Palmer, who I thought was doing Bachelorette now, Todd McShay, Desmond Howard, Pete Thamel, Pollock, whatever. So I see all these people.
Where's Louis Riddick? He's my go-to
He's here.
guy.
He's there.
Okay.
He's there. So we got basically what I'm saying. We got 20 people basically that are that are going to this draft. Last time I checked, Matt Miller, who, if you're not familiar with, was at Bleacher Report, was their ace when it comes to NFL draft. He's one of the best in the business. His Twitter handle, I think, is literally NFL Draft Scout. It's all he does.
Right.
He works for ESPN now.
Right. They bought him up.
Why is he not one of these 20 people?
Because they buy people up to get them off other platforms, because they can't come up with the talent themselves.
It doesn't make sense. Jordan Reed, another one, was at NFL Draft Network, very intelligible with the draft. I see him a few times talking about it. These people live, eat, breathe, and die of the draft. This is like their day. This is their Super Bowl. And in respect to Booker, Tampa Bay Buccaneer, I don't know if he has the most insightful take on some prospects if I want to learn some things.
He does his homework. He covers college football. I like his opinion over a lot of others. I can tell you that right now.
Well, there's some people I'm looking at on my screen right here that I just don't.
Like Robert Griffin, no. Booger, yes. Louis Riddick, yes. And there's certain guys that I really tend to say, yeah, he's got a good handle on that particular prospect, or just them prospects. Those guys seem to have a pretty good track record.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Mel Kiper, I don't know.
Mel
Not
Kiper,
so much.
Todd McShay, the normal ones.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a break, and I want to come back. And I know, I've tried to stay away from mock drafts, but I think we have to go through one mock draft and talk about who's going where, who might go right. Like it's the law, right? We have to do this at some point. So we'll do the ones that are more Buccaneers related. So stay with us. An update on the Sternberg lawsuit. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his phone number. Tell him JP said you could call 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. Our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Also by the Gold and Diamond Source. April is running down, and Mother's Day is coming up really, really soon, folks. So get your butt in there and get some of the best selections of diamond rings, diamond earrings, diamond pendants, bling, 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 bling. They've got it all there. They've got a great collection. The Julieve collection, the Emily collection is a little bit more affordable. You can check that out. It is like a toy store for folks that like bling, and great watches. And of course, the best prices there, best selection. And it's a local company. Yeah, so keep your money local. It's never been more important than it is right now. And they've done great things in the community as well. We love talking about Julie and Steve Weintraub and all the great things they do and donate to charity. So we always say, keep it local. We love the folks over at the Golden Diamond Store in there. You got to buy something for mom. And if you have a wife who's also a mom, guys, don't forget, you got to get something for her as well. So skip the flowers, get her something that's going to last, like jewelry, like bling. They love it. You know where? 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Oh,
what are you laughing at now?
I'm just one Twitter scroll on draft day, and it's already too much for me. One veteran front office executive this morning. This is the craziest draft I've seen in 30 years. Oh my! Did we say that last year?
Why is that? I tell you what makes it different is the fact that you have so many teams with 2 first-round picks, and that just kind of leads to a lot of moving and shaking. I would think, don't you think?
Yeah, and honestly too, like the surprise factor of it. Like if you're watching the draft and everybody's streaming, but even if you're not, this happens. Schefter leaks every pick right before it happens anyway. So to me, the surprise factor, it's like unless you want to just stay off Twitter for the rest of the night.
I think you have to almost.
What?
You have to almost stay off Twitter if you want to enjoy the immediacy of the show and the reactions. You got to.
It's like,
well, then they also show, and then I know they've tried to get away from this, but when the guy starts talking on the phone, I mean, obviously that's the dead giveaway as well. You know,
to me, it's become so like, I don't know. It's more like grand now, but it's not as like, I liked it better when I had no idea who was going to go. And then before it was like leaked, and like everybody's telling you like, this is going to happen. Like Schefter, like we obviously know no quarterback's going number 1, but just let me be. Don't report that. I don't need that reported. And by the way,
that's the story for me tonight is how high these quarterbacks go. And I've seen mocks that have Willis going to Carolina and Pickett going to the Falcons.
And if there's anything I know about this draft, you could say it's the craziest draft. At the front of it, I know that one of 3 positions are going number 1: quarterback, edge, offensive tackle. You want to know how I know that? Because the last one that wasn't that to go first overall was Keyshawn Johnson in 1995.
Is it that far back?
Yes. Every other pick since has been quarterback, tackle, edge.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap. He was the last wide receiver to go number 1 overall?
The last position player outside of those 2.
Wow. Interesting. So the Jags pick first, the Lions are second, Texans third, Jets are fourth, and they also have the 10th overall pick. So I could definitely see the Jets moving out of that spot and doing something. The Giants are next at 5. Carolina's at 6. The Giants are at 7. So Carolina could take the first quarterback off the board. There's nobody taking a quarterback. Somebody jumps up, but that would be insane. Can you imagine somebody paying draft capital to jump up and get one of these guys?
A quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh, they need to be fired.
Yeah. And I tell you, I don't think Malik Willis gets past the Falcons.
Where are the Falcons picking at?
8th.
8th?
Yeah, I don't think he gets past the Falcons.
Oh, I think he's going down. I think he's sliding.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think that's the ghost of Deshaun Watson right there. Another local Atlanta kid that they don't want to get out of town.
Well,
and they need a quarterback.
I get that, but be patient. I think you need to play the long game with some of these teams.
They do. I think that would be the smart thing to do, but I don't think the Falcons are.
The quarterback class next year, like we're already looking ahead. Okay. Bryce Young,
Arthur
CJ
Blank's
Stroud,
105.
The Van Dyke kid from
Can't
Miami.
wait any longer.
There's like 5 quarterbacks in next year's draft that are all better than the top one in this draft.
And by the way, you're going to have a top 5 pick next year, Atlanta.
You got to play that's why I'm saying you got to play the patient game. That's why if you're the Lions, they have the 2nd overall pick. They're not even entertaining quarterback with that pick.
Of course not.
They might take one with 32, and because that seems like a better pick to take one if you want to.
Right.
But if you're the Lions, especially, you might as well just wait till next year. You're going to be shit again.
Yeah.
And you can get
or
Bryce
you could
Young
trade
or
for Baker
Stroud.
Mayfield, the number 1 overall pick.
Okay, the Panthers situation is different. It's different.
They could. He's out there.
And that might happen today. Who knows?
Yep. The Panthers at 6, Giants at 7. So the Giants have 5 and 7. How are they going to F this up?
They're effing it up. They're definitely effing it up. Although they got they got a new regime, and I like this new regime on paper, so they might hit it well. They might.
The Eagles got 15, 18, and I think they got another one, don't they?
I think they traded.
Oh, that's right.
To
Yeah, they
New
did.
Orleans?
Yeah. So they moved up, and they're at 15 and 18 now, and they're not going quarterback as far as
no. I think the Saints have a chance though to get really good from those 2 picks. They draft very well.
Yep.
And they seem to find guys who come in day one and produce.
Yeah, the Saints are at 16 and 19.
Yeah, and by them moving into the first round, they're sending that message, like with 2 picks like that they're looking at 2 more pieces because they know they got to stay with the Bucs.
Right.
So it'd be interesting. And I was wondering what to wear today, to wear the Bucs shirt, but I decided to represent FSU today because our boy Jermaine Johnson,
the
only FSU player who has a chance of getting drafted this year, which I can't believe
in the first round.
how mighty we have fallen. I don't think any other player at FSU is getting drafted. Who else is eligible? Or who else do you want to take from that team?
Probably nobody.
But Jermaine, I saw, is rising. I think Rappaport said he's one of the guys who could go higher than even expected. So he might sneak in the top 10.
Listen, I did not see a better pass rusher in college football last year. I know Kayvon Thibodeau's got great moves, blah, blah, blah. Hutchinson's relentless. But I just in terms of a pure pass rusher, athleticism, boy, he would fit so well with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And
he can do it all.
Yeah.
I really think he's going to be an excellent pro.
In my opinion, if you came to FSU in the last 5 years and you showed out, I think of you so much higher. I think that should bump you up, if anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, in Cam Akers, Asante Samuel, the last two high picks for FSU, Brian Burns, all of them have hit in the NFL. By the way.
They have, yeah.
So when they get it right, they get it right with these FSU guys.
So we think the Jags are going to go Hutchinson from Michigan.
We're thinking Walker,
Trayvon Walker.
Which to me is like he's the first overall pick, and it makes me feel just so flat about it. I don't know. I don't see it.
I don't see how you can have that little production in that defense and be considered as the number one overall pick. That's all that's telling me is you're looking at the measurables. You're looking at the measurables. You're so excited of him as an athlete.
Yeah.
That you're going to put him up against guys who have been much more productive than him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's how you screw up drafts. And that's exactly what Jacksonville's going to do.
Does he feel like Jadeveon Clowney to you?
Yeah, he does.
That's who comes to mind for me.
Yeah,
not a bust, but just kind of like not as what we were hyped up to see because he had all the traits.
Yeah. This is what PFF says. Hutchinson isn't just the best prospect in this class. He is also fresh off a historically good season that generated more PFF wins above average than any other edge season in the PFF college era, edging out campaigns from Chase Young, Joey Bosa, and Nick Bosa. Okay.
I think those three turned out just fine.
That's pretty high praise right there. He earned an overall FBS leading 94.5 overall grade. He's a beast. The guy's an absolute beast, and he's a can't miss pro because of his effort, his leadership. It's a can't miss. The other guys have some holes.
Yeah. And to me, and the guy right too that they have going number 2,
Kayvon Thibodeau to the Detroit Lions from Oregon.
I'm trying to figure out. I've seen mocks where he's like the 4th edge going off the board.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to figure out what everybody's looking at. Again, I don't go deep into studying these guys, but again, number 1 player in high school in his college class.
Yeah.
He produced at the Pac-12 level. Was like the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. He did everything you asked of him, and people are saying, "Well, he's got a big character." Okay, and this is the NFL in 2022.
I like
Everybody's
emotion.
got a big character.
Yeah, I like emotion. Yeah,
I mean, get some freaking personality into Detroit for crying out loud.
Yeah, they could use it. Texans have the 3rd pick. Derek Stingley Jr. from the LSU Tigers, 6'1", 195 pounds, 4'3", 40-yard dash, 42-inch vertical. Everything is there. The guy can play. If you need a corner, go get him. I got to call him a can't miss as well. He's shown it. He's shown it in the SEC that he can run with anybody. He can play with anybody.
The problem with him is he was so good the first year, and he never lived back up to it. But again, he's one of those guys that you kind of trust. He has all the tools. Let's just say kind of has he has all the measurables. Know that the production wasn't there as much as it was the first year, but hey, whatever. I mean, I like Ahmad Gardner a little bit more, Sauce Gardner, because he locked down everybody.
Sauce Gardner can play. There's no doubt.
He can play.
He's one of the reasons. I mean, you look at why Cincinnati was such a good football team. Their 2 corners allowed them to send just about everybody.
Yeah.
So then that, spot good on you for playing to your strengths, no doubt. So the Jets are mocked to take Kyle Hamilton, who's 6'4", 220-pound playmaking center. I don't think he has. Just something about him that I watch. He just doesn't seem as explosive as I would like a high pick to be. He seems very instinctive. Kyle Hamilton. I think he's going to be a really good player in the league. I really, really do. I don't know. People are, calling him the next Ronnie Lott. I'm like, no.
I don't see. That's when we start getting a little too out of hand. But I think he is the best safety in this class by far. I still think he's a top 10 pick. And I just think he's one of those guys. I don't think the bust potential's there. I don't think it's there for him.
Yeah. He's just too good of an overall football player. Great instincts. Sauce Gardner going to the Giants with the 5th overall pick. 6th, the Carolina Panthers taking Charles Cross from Mississippi State. Guy is just absolute wall at left tackle. He's just the best. I think I heard it over 1,500 snaps. He gave up like 20 pressures
in the SEC.
Going against the most elite
SEC West
pass rushers in the game in college football.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a ridiculous percentage. I mean, you could fall down more than that.
Yeah.
Crazy. The Giants, the 7th overall pick, Nakobe Dean from Georgia. I mean, how many Georgia defensive players are going to go?
I mean, they're Trayvon Walker.
Yeah.
Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, the other linebacker, who
Yeah.
I've actually heard is better than Nakobe Dean.
And Lewis Seen.
Yeah. Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis. How many have I just named? George
6,
Pickens
7.
might get in there.
Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah. That's how you can win a national championship
I think
with,
so.
with Stedman Bennett. Yeah, sure. You need a defense like that. Desmond Ridder going to the Falcons at 8. That's what PFF says.
I'm going to be honest with you. If there's a quarterback that I'm willing in this class that I'm willing to take a chance on, it's him. I think Kenny Pickett to me was so like meh leading up to his year last year for Pitt.
Yeah.
And I know Joe Burrow was, I guess, the same way, but it's a little different. Joe Burrow won a national title and a Heisman.
Right.
And Joe Burrow had some size to him. Kenny Pickett, I just don't get that. Can we see him being a Pro Bowl starter? Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can?
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking you were asking about the defensive player.
No.
I can't see. No.
I just don't. It's a little bit meh for me.
He's got to be again in a perfect situation. Great offensive line, great weapons, good solid defense for him to have success. And again, you can have a lot of different quarterbacks. I like the way I like his accuracy, and I like his ability to read the defense.
Yeah.
I think he seems to throw with anticipation and accuracy.
Yeah.
Just not to the Joe Burrow level.
Yeah, and I think Ridder, he has the only quarterback in this draft that has the size. The NFL prototype size being 6'5", 2 whatever. He's got the biggest arm, I think, in this draft. Obviously, he won. He's like the most winningest quarterback in the history of college football, so he knows how to win football games. I think that stuff plays in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that wouldn't surprise me if he goes above those guys.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think Atlanta for
But if I'm Atlanta at 8, I have so many holes everywhere else. Again, I'm waiting.
I hope they take a quarterback. I hope,
That's why if the first quarterback off the board goes to Pittsburgh at 20, that seems more likely to me.
Yeah. They got the Seahawks going tackle Evan Neal from Alabama. Solid choice there. Jets at the 10th pick, George Karlaftis from Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Another edge rusher.
Jermaine.
Washington Commanders. God, that sounds so bad.
I hate it.
That is the worst.
We all hate it.
It's like XFL name. Awful. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. The Vikings cornerback Trent McDuffie, Washington. That seems like a little bit of a reach there.
Yeah.
Houston Texans, 13 overall pick, Jermaine Johnson from FSU. We talked about him, 6'4", 260, long reach, just relentless player. They got the Ravens going Akeem Ekwonu from NC State, offensive lineman.
He ain't falling to 14. I got news for y'all.
Yeah, and the Eagles, this is where it starts getting like really interesting. The 15th overall pick, the Eagles take Drake London. Like is that the first receiver off the board?
I think
PFF?
Garrett Wilson, they have going first.
Yeah.
But those seem to be the consensus top two.
Yeah. I love that Drake at 6'5", 210. He's a Mike Evans, seems a lot like Mike Evans. Chris Olave then going to the Saints, which is interesting. Another weapon for Jameis Winston, and Michael Thomas is coming back. They need another weapon, no doubt. They got the Chargers taking Jameson Williams to package up there with Justin Herbert. that kid is going to be explosive. I don't think he's a great overall. He's Deshaun Jackson to me. That's who he is, and there's nothing wrong with that. A very successful career. And then we'll go. The Eagles taking linebacker Devin Lloyd from Utah. The Saints taking tackle Bernard Raymond from Central Michigan. They need to shore up their offensive line. Then they got the Steelers taking Malik Willis, the quarterback from Liberty. Then the Patriots taking Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson at 21. Great corner.
Ooh, that's high right there.
Yeah, they have the Packers taking Christian Watson from Plant High School. 6'4", 208, earned an 89.5 receiving grade and an astounding 4.33 yards per route run, playing in a run-heavy Bison offense last year. Showed out at the Senior Bowl. He's kind of I'm telling you, he's one of those guys, North Dakota State, that his measurables, and when a guy that hasn't played a lot of football on tape, and he shows up at these things and he pops. There's no doubt about it. They got the Cardinals taking Kiermaier Elam, thank God, at 23, get him off the board before the Bucs pick. Devontae Wyatt going to the Cowboys at 24. I think the Cowboys are going offensive line, don't you? I think they are.
Tackle would feel really good to replace Leo Collins.
Yeah. Jahan Dotson going to the Bills at 25.
Another receiver?
Yeah.
They have a pretty good receiving group.
They really do. Then they got the Titans going receiver as well. Sky Moore.
I like that dude.
Western Michigan.
I like that dude.
Better than
You
other.
might
Western
not have
Michigan
heard of him, but I like that dude. This pick right here that's not happening.
Yeah, they got PFF as the
That's
Dolphins taking Jordan Davis. I mean, the Bucs taking Jordan Davis.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, I mean,
no way. First of all, I think a team for them is taking him.
Yeah,
and the Bucs have been saying all the time, it's clear as every day, they need somebody who can rush the passer. They're not taking another Vita Vea. That makes zero sense.
Yeah, this PFF draft, this mock draft, that's PFF's. That is not the consensus of what I've seen.
I don't know. I think
they're much more.
I think all these mocks, in a sense, they might have the top 10 like somewhat in the range, but I mean, just listening to what everybody's saying about 15 to 65 to 70, whatever, there's going to be a lot of names that nobody's talking about that are going in the first round.
No, that's why they all say that 15 to 65, they're all pretty similar. Like PFF has Trayvon Walker going 30th. And John Ledyard Pewter Report has him going
PFF
first.
Has Trayvon Walker going 30th.
30th. Yeah.
So they clearly aren't buying into the.
No, they're not.
The hype.
Nope, they're not.
Are you? PFF has it going. Let me see that.
Yeah. Show you right here.
Wow. Or the Chiefs 30.
The Chiefs at 30. Yeah. And they'll be happy to get him there. They write, this is an unpopular opinion, but I am not comfortable with taking Walker any earlier than the end of round
one.
Who wrote
this? I'm curious.
This is the PFF draft, folks.
Anthony Triche.
Yeah, he's their number one draft guy. We've had him on the show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think there's a lot of I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because of the receiver effect, because there's so many receivers. When you have 5 or 6 receivers going in the first round, it's going to push some really good football players down to the Bucs. I'm telling you, every time a receiver goes, quarterback goes, the Bucs fans rejoice, because that's pushing offensive linemen, defensive linemen, corners, safeties. It's everything we need down the board. Every time you see I'd say offensive tackle, which obviously we don't need. We're not going tackle. We're not going, big interior Jordan Davis. We're not going. I think we would definitely go corner, but we're not going wide receiver. I don't think a lot of people think the Bucs are going wide receiver first round. I don't know.
It depends.
Sorry, Tom, not doing it.
It depends how the
you can't get it done with Gage, Godwin. And I know Godwin may not start the season, but you can't draft like that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know who the doctors are that are saying he's not coming back to Thanksgiving. I don't think they're doctors. I'll put my money on Chris Godwin being ready earlier than later.
I think he will too.
Yeah.
And even then, I think Russell Gage, I mean, gosh, he's 1,000-yard receiver.
He ain't no
basically.
chump.
He can do just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at our corners that got toasted by him for the last 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I think too, when the uncertainty of it, I look at like Trey McBride, for example, who I think the Bucs probably love and is on their draft board, I have to assume. And I said the other day, like, if he goes first round, I'm probably going to say, like, tight end in the first round, but everything seems so crazy that there might be a team that goes and gets him in the first round.
Yeah.
You don't know how everybody has it laid out.
Yeah, that's why this I think, I'm not going to be watching play-by-play tonight, but I know you probably will.
I will be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Brandon.
I get that you can't watch it with the sound down.
They'll have the sound. They'll have the sound up, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be there with a big group of friends. Not working the draft tonight. Finally.
Okay. Good for you.
Last 2 drafts I had to work it, and I don't want that job. That's a long time to be on air for 4 hours.
Yeah.
5 hours actually is what it was.
Yeah. I can't watch it play-by-play. I'll be watching something else.
You can watch with the Razor and the Lightning. You got the Lightning to watch.
I'll be watching the Lightning tonight and keeping an eye on the draft. I'll have 2 screens. I'm not a huge fan of the blah 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 blah. It just makes me freaking
the cliches.
Crazy.
I can't take it. I just can't take it.
So I'll just have an eye on the draft and watching the Lightning and probably some other stuff as well. All right, do we need to take a break or we?
Oh no, we can ride
right down through it. Yeah. So John Ledyard on his mock draft, the Pewter Report says the Bucs are going Lewis Cine, which that's my call as well. I think Scott Reynolds over there had him going Logan Hall. I think those are the top 2 picks: Devontae Wyatt, Logan Hall, Lewis Cine. Those seem to be the most I'd say respected mock drafts that I've seen for the Bucs.
I think Devontae Wyatt is trending down off the Bucs board.
Yeah.
From what I think I heard yesterday, that there was a character concern with him, I guess maybe his first few years at Georgia, and he just finally turned it on, I guess, this past year. And even then he wasn't that productive in regards to getting sacks.
Yeah, that scares me. Guys like that.
He's also already 24 years old. So he's a pretty old first round pick. So you can argue that maybe his potential is not, sky through the roof right now.
If you're that old and you haven't flashed before then, I think it is a bit of it does kind of reek of a guy that finally realized, oh wait, I got to go play hard this year to get my money. It's always come easy to me. Now I got to go out there and stand out to get my money. And then, once you get the money, you don't get the effort. Yeah. So I'm just speculating here. That to me, that's a bit of a red flag when you got somebody down. And I'm sure injuries played into that as well. So we'll see tonight. It'll be a very interesting draft, no doubt. What else did we not get to today? We didn't talk a whole lot about the Lightning today. They're at Columbus tonight. At this point, they got Columbus, they got the Isles. They're pretty much locked into playing Toronto. Just don't take your foot off the gas. Keep doing what you're doing. It's going to be hard to get their attention tonight for this game. It really is. It's
the Lightning?
Yeah.
I think they're so hot right now. I think they are looking forward to it, to be honest. I don't think they're looking at games like they were for the month or two and being like, oh, we got a game tonight. I think they're looking, hey,
they're just so much better than Columbus. Just keep it going.
I think Columbus is the one that's
get our power play some more work.
Season over with, please.
Yeah, 11. They're 11 for 21 in their last 6 games on the power play.
Just crazy stuff.
Yeah,
crazy. And even I was telling you, I was listening to NHL radio this morning because it looks like we're most likely getting a Toronto matchup round 1.
Yeah.
Elliot Friedman, who's for Sportsnet, he's in Toronto.
Unless we lose our 2 and Boston wins there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's happening.
No.
He's in Toronto and he was saying he's been talking to a lot of Leafs fans and people and they're scared of the Lightning. They're scared. And they're scared of Steven Stamkos more than anything. Because it's the childhood guy back in his hometown
who eschewed Toronto's free agent offers and stayed with Tampa Bay.
It's kind of like Vinny in the 2004 playoffs when he went back to Montreal. Remember, he just could not stop scoring.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
that's how they feel.
And they should. And Toronto's recent failures in the playoffs, Austin Matthews getting 60 goals actually probably puts more pressure on them to do something in the playoffs. And we just saw the other night that the Lightning, when they go to that next gear, and I know Austin Matthews didn't play, and that's a big deal. And I know Pointer didn't play as well, but they're a totally different team, obviously, with Austin Matthews. But they, I still think this is a good matchup for the Lightning. I really do.
The Lightning have no pressure. They have zero pressure to win this series. They already have the 2 cups. Obviously, they're going for 3. Toronto just they haven't won a playoff series since 2004. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
And yeah, and here's the thing: even if they lose the series, it's not like you can say, "Oh well," like the Lightning, they'll keep getting cracks at it and they'll keep going. The Lightning have conference championships and a Stanley Cup before they finally broke through. Toronto just needs to win a playoff series.
And that's crying out loud. Yeah, and that's the thing is all the media up there, all the the fans up there, their expectations are, oh, here we go again.
Yeah,
and we get the 2-time defending Cup champions who just whooped our ass. I mean, it's not they're like this is their worst nightmare.
So if you're the Lightning, you go there in game 1 and kick their ass.
And I love going on the road for the first 2.
Oh yeah, you go out there and kick their ass in game 1.
We might get 2.
You're in their head.
Yeah.
You're in their head.
I totally agree. And that's the way the Lightning have to play. Instead of saying, "Oh, we're the defending champs," like, nah, we won 2 in a row. How's funny, man? Let's go have some fun. Let's let it rip. And if we win it, great. If not, you know what? We still got 2 rings. And that's a dangerous attitude to have with a team that talented. All right. Our thanks to Dan Lucas for joining us here earlier today. Paul Stewart as well. If you missed anything, you can always check it out on the app. Download the app, FanStream Sports, all one word. You can just tap that app, listen to the show anytime. It'll pop right up right from the beginning. And then you can fast forward, do whatever you want. It's all there for you. That's why we call it a podcast after our live cast. And, of course, you can please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. All right. Go Boats. Go Rays. Talk to you tomorrow.